Hey genius, are you wrecking your engine every morning without even realizing it? Yeah, those cold starts of yours might seem a little bit harmless, but you're really shortening your car's lifespan. Today, we're going to talk about the most common mistakes people make during cold starts. And trust me, avoiding these is going to save you a ton in repairs. This video might just be the thing you need to keep your car running smooth all year long. When you hear cold start, you're probably thinking of cold mornings and your frozen windshield, but that ain't what I'm talking about. A cold start happens anytime your engine's been sitting for a minute. It could be a couple of hours or overnight. The right way to tell is if your car's exhaust is loud at first before settling down, with the RPM needles stable at around 800. That's a cold start, and here's why it matters. When you fire up your engine after a long break, all the oil's sitting at the bottom. Until your engine's warmed up and circulated it, the engine's basically running dry for the first couple minutes, and that's when all the damage can happen if you're not careful. It doesn't matter if it's below freezing or 90 degrees outside, because those first few seconds are tough on your engine. So make sure you avoid making mistakes that could be bad for your engine, starting with this one. We've all been there. Cold morning, sucks outside, you hop in the car, start it up, and you hit the gas thinking you're speeding things up so you can get to work or your latte. But revving your engine right away, that's actually making things worse. When you start your car cold, your engine's internal parts, like all the pistons, are contracted and stiff, so they don't work as smoothly as they're supposed to. So when you hit the gas, all those parts grind together harder than people clubbing in the 2000s. All that unnecessary friction wears things down faster than it should, and if you've been doing this every day, you're looking at engine failure a lot sooner than you'd hope for. Think of it this way. Is working out without a warm-up doing you any good? Your body's not going to be ready for it, and the same thing goes for your car. Also keep in mind that oil's cold too. It's thick and sluggish, like your brain in the morning, so it takes a minute to get moving and lubricate the parts. Until that happens, it's like trying to drive a Buick through a traffic jam. It just ain't gonna happen. You gotta wait for that oil to circulate and get everything moving, but don't wait too long, which brings me to mistake number 2. Look, we've all done it. You start the car, you let it run for a minute, then you head inside to grab your coffee or pee one more time before you head off to work. But leaving your car idling for too long is actually causing more harm than good. When you let it idle for too long, unburned fuel mixes with the oil in your engine. This dilutes the oil, making it less effective at lubricating all the parts that need lubed up. This leads to a bunch of extra wear and tear, and over time it starts to take a toll on your engine. At some point, you can end up on the side of the road or get embarrassed from black smoke coming out your tailpipe when you're at a stoplight. And let's be real, nothing's worse than being that stinky car on the road. Oh, and if you're already seeing black smoke, I got some bad news for you. That excess fuel and heat, that's caused carbon to build up in the engine. And if it keeps building up, it's gonna end up damaging your catalytic converter, which ain't gonna be so kind to your wallet, believe you me. I know, sweet cheeks, it's tempting to let the car warm up while you're inside brushing your teeth, making coffee, or curling your hair. But the reality is, the longer you let it sit, the worse it's gonna get. So don't waste too much time idling. Give it around 30 to 60 seconds, because that's all it needs to get that oil circulating and start warming up. And there's no need to keep it running until it reaches that midpoint of your temperature gauge. That's just a myth popularized by mechanics, so you're going to end up in their shop sooner rather than later.
Friendly reminder to properly warm up your car before driving.
Just make sure you don't go full speed racer out of the gate. There's no need to gun it right away. Let that engine warm up gradually as you drive. This way, you'll save yourself the hassle of taking your car to the mechanic to clean up all the carbon crap that's built up in your engine and your exhaust pipes. Just give it a minute to warm up. No more, no less. Here's why. When you jump in your car first thing in the morning, you fire it up and you floor the gas to warm it up faster, that's a mistake your engine's gonna regret, like you the day after Taco Bell and tequila. When your engine's cold, the components inside don't have the proper clearance to move smoothly. Driving aggressively, especially right after starting her up, causes excessive friction between those tight components. Over time, this friction leads to premature wear on the engine and can even result in engine failure and that annoying little check engine light to pop up if you keep doing it over and over again. Fuel injectors and spark plugs aren't as efficient until the engine warms up. If you push the accelerator too hard, you're forcing them to work overtime before they're ready, which can damage these critical parts. Not only are you damaging your engine, but your fuel efficiency is going to bottom out and you're going to burn more fuel than necessary, increasing your time and expenses at the pump. What you should do instead is take it easy. Keep your acceleration light, lead foot, and avoid heavy speeds until your engine reaches its normal operating temperature. That's going to give the oil enough time to circulate and lube the engine components properly, reducing friction and minimizing wear and tear. So just take a little bit more time to warm up your car, because it's going to save you a whole lot of trouble down the road.
Short trips. Too many short trips, this is what you end up with. All that condensation inside of this tube. That's water coming through the PCV system. You got to drive the car longer or change the oil more often, folks.
Short trips might seem harmless, but they can actually cause long-term damage to your car. When your engine doesn't have enough time to reach its proper operating temperature, the oil doesn't get hot enough to fully circulate. This ends up with moisture and fuel vapors mixed with the oil, which dilutes its effectiveness. Over time, this could lead to a decrease in lubrication, causing parts to wear down prematurely, especially if you've got a BMW, because they're notorious for breaking down if you don't treat them right. But the bigger issue is the buildup of carbon deposits. When the engine doesn't fully heat up, you get incomplete combustion, which leaves behind carbon in the combustion chamber and exhaust system. This can clog up important components like your headers, your throttle body, and your exhaust, which is likely going to need an expensive repair or full replacement. Now, if you're incredibly lucky, a quick cleanup job's going to do the trick. The main problem is that short trips without proper warm-ups mean that the engine never gets a chance to evaporate moisture from inside the system, which causes sludge and rust to form over time.
A lot of us drive in stop-and-go traffic and take our cars on short trips. Stop-and-go traffic doesn't do your engine any favor, and short trips simply don't allow your car time to warm up properly. Believe it or not, these are two types of severe driving conditions.
This moisture buildup leads to even more wear and tear on your cylinder heads. To give the engine time to warm up completely, try to combine your errands into a single longer drive rather than making short ones. This is going to let the oil circulate properly and reach all the parts that need lubing up. It also gives the engine time to burn off moisture, preventing rust and sludge buildup. You should also consider taking a longer trip every once in a while to ensure your car's got the chance to dry out and clear out any fuel vapors to extend the life of your engine. If you're using oil that's too thick, your engine's gonna struggle during cold starts or maybe just not start at all. Here's the thing, thick oil moves like molasses when the engine's cold. The engine tries to pump it through the system, but it's the equivalent of pushing a boulder up a hill, both ways, through the rain and snow. That means less lubrication, more friction, and eventually your pistons or head gasket blowing up. The wrong oil can also cause moisture and unburned fuel to mix with the oil, which can also lead to carbon buildup, and trust me, carbon buildup's the kind of guest that stays way too long, eats all your chips, and never helps with a cleanup. It's not doing your car any favors, so don't do it. Oh, and in case you're wondering, yeah, cold oil also makes your engine work harder to get the circulation going. So to avoid turning your engine into a paperweight, always choose oil that's right for the season. And if you don't know what that is, go to somebody that does. Do yourself a favor. Don't just grab whatever's cheapest or looks good on the shelf. Make sure it's the right match for the temperature outside, or your car could struggle with cold starts. Listen up, you sweet summer child. Neglecting regular maintenance might seem like a bit of a shortcut to save you money, but it's the quickest way to make cold starts harder and destroy your engine. Old, clogged up oil filters slow down oil flow, making the engine work overtime to circulate in cold weather because it quite literally is not going to be able to breathe. Oil can't lubricate, friction makes it harder to get things going, and the next thing you know, biggity biggity boom bam, that's a rod through the sidewall. Sometimes it ain't even going to start properly, and worn spark plugs are another culprit because they can cause misfires, making it harder for your engine to start, especially when it's cold outside. It can even damage your ignition coils if you're forced to crank the engine for longer. Not only does this make your car run rough, but it stresses out the engine, which could lead to bigger issues like blown gaskets and a loss of oil pressure. If those things don't sound fun, it's because they're not. Yeah, don't forget about your filters either. Clogged air fuel filter messes with the air fuel mix, making it harder to start your car. The engine's got to fight against that, which puts extra strain on it too. Sticking to a maintenance schedule isn't just nice for your engine, it's essential, so don't skip out on it. It's not a hoax or a sham. Regular oil changes, spark plug swaps, and air fuel filter checks are basic, but they make a big difference in engine performance, especially in colder weather. Clean oil and good filters mean easier starts, better lubrication, and less stress on the engine, and better fuel efficiency for you. Avoiding these mistakes will make a huge difference in how long your engine lasts and how well it runs, especially during cold starts. So make sure you take care of your car now, and it'll take care of you down the road. And if you found this video useful, then make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more car tips.